The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland, which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, Marpol's modular housing program faces criticism from the neighbors' residents.
Distracted driving is the new drunk driving.
And the new year brings in fresh as well as failed resolutions back.
Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Veronica Beltran.
And I'm Beth Merriam. The City of Vancouver is clashing with residents of the Marpol area. Katie Penny takes a look at how the city is responding to the residents' concerns.
This has been a site of controversy for over a month, mainly because its close proximity to an elementary school. The city has placed a temporary modular housing unit at 59th Avenue and Heather Street, primarily for giving shelter to the homeless. Some residents feel the city did not consult with them.
But why can't we sit down and kumbaya this? Like, why can't we sit down and hash it out? That's why I'm angry, and I'm angry at my city for putting us in this situation.
Residents met with a homeless advocate group and city representatives. They feared the temporary housing project would be a safety risk to young children. City Councillor Hector Bremner agrees there is a stigma surrounding homelessness.
There's a lot of education, myself included. I used to have, I think, very different positions on these issues maybe 10 years ago, but I evolved with better information, and the more I've worked on the front lines of these issues, I've seen and changed. It's a long walk.
The city has ordered a court injunction to limit protests at the site so that construction can move forward. The city is ensuring the building will be staffed 24 hours and says there will be a selection process run by BC Housing to manage access to the units. Katie Penny in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Katie, what does the acronym NIMBY stand for?
So Beth, NIMBY stands for Not in My Backyard. It's a phrase used to mean, yeah, I think that's great, but I don't want it in my neighborhood. Some people think the safety concerns are a cover for NIMBYism. Beth?
What does the group Finding Homes for the Homeless actually do?
Finding Homes for the Homeless works to end the stigma surrounding homeless people and does groundwork in the downtown east side, giving away hygiene packs to the homeless. Back to you.
An SFU student says she was verbally attacked for the color of her skin. Video of the incident has gone viral online. My co-anchor Beth Merriam has the story.
Anika Vassell was the victim of an alleged verbal racial attack on this street in Mount Pleasant. She captured the incident on her smartphone.
I see you, I see that you are black, and I see that you are not white.
Really?
So you are not like the rest of us. God
The video
help
has
us.
gone viral.
Maybe we'll hold the majority, because if
Almost
like,
20,000
arrogant
shares
like
on
you are
Facebook.
Arrogant like I am walking down the
we
street.
are in big danger.
Minding my own business and I'm in big danger.
So you are black. I'm telling
And
you,
I'm
go
gonna
back
go,
to your home country.
and you can have a nice day.
Vassell says it could happen to anyone.
She asked me, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Vancouver because I was born and raised in Vancouver. And she says, no, where are you from? Like, what country are you from? She was persistent. And I said, well, I'm Jamaican and South African because that's where my parents are from. And her first reaction was, and you're that black?
No charges were laid for the incident. Stats Canada reports that in 2016, there were at least 211 reported hate crimes in BC. That's nearly 25% increase since 2015. Vassell says the family of the woman has contacted her to say the woman suffers from mental illness. For Vassell, it doesn't lessen the blow.
I was just hoping that we can talk about it and address it, and for the people who don't really know what's happening, because it may not be directed at them, that they can see that this does happen to people and it's not fair.
Beth Merriam in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Distracted driving could cost you $2,000. Our reporter Ben Phillips has the story.
It's distracting, it's dangerous, and it could cost you as much as $2,000 per fine if you're caught using your phone behind the wheel. Stats from 2016 show that 78 distracted driving fatal accidents took place, where there was only 53 alcohol-related fatal accidents. That is despite the efforts of law enforcement.
We wrote almost 2,000 tickets in that 1 month, and we likely could have written more. So we're a little concerned that it was too easy to write these tickets, that people just aren't getting the messaging.
However, distracted driving is more than just using your phone.
Any type of driving in which your attention or focus is away from the road. So texting, eating, even hardcore, stimulating conversations.
By texting and driving, calling and driving, and I would probably say maybe even distracted hands like eating and drinking.
Police say people are commonly caught using their phones at red lights, and while the vehicle is stopped, it's still dangerous and illegal. So what are the next steps to getting the point across?
We look at it and almost like a behavioral shift needs to happen in society. We're glued to our phones to begin with now, and it's becoming more and more of an issue. I think no matter where you go, you always see somebody with it, whether you're walking into traffic or you're anywhere. But when you're driving, that behavior has to stop. We need to switch our behavior.
As of March, you could end up paying as much as $2,000 per ticket. So is sending that text really worth it? It's probably better just to leave the phone alone and focus on driving. Ben Phillips in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
A charity is helping those in need get back on their feet.
And a man from Langley is using Christmas trees to help those fighting cancer.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
And now my co-anchor Veronica joins us from the Great Hall.
Hi there and welcome back to BCIT Magazine. I'm here with Lauren from the Student Association's Health and Wellness team. Good morning, Lauren. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Okay. So what is this that we have today?
So this is our Breakfast Club. It's an event that we host the first Tuesday of every month here on the main campus. And essentially what it is we're giving out a free nutritious breakfast to our students in our campus community.
Okay, so how important is it for students to have a good breakfast?
It's really important. As we know, it's important that you're feeding your body and your mind, having a good, strong start to the day. Especially here as students, they have long, tiring days with their educational demands. So it's really important that they're making sure that they're getting the fuel that they need in order to output their desired outcomes.
Okay. Can we just talk about some of the things that we have on the table for a little?
Yeah.
What are these guys over here?
So today we have some assorted mini muffins and some bran cookies and scones and little danishes. And then we always want to give the option of some healthier sides as well. So we have some bananas and apples who are in season today. We kind of like to switch it up each time, give them a little bit more of a variety, but making sure that they're getting that balanced, nutritious meal as well.
Okay, so are you guys here every morning, or when are you guys here?
It's the first Tuesday of every month that we host it. And then we also have our Fresh Fruit Fridays on the third Friday of every month. And that's kind of a similar format, but we just have a table with free fresh fruit for the students to access.
All right. So let's talk about people who, are coming into the new year and they want to have like a healthier kind of start with breakfast being like the first meal of the day. What kind of breakfasts would you recommend for those people?
Yeah, as we know, with the new year comes a lot of resolutions. One of the most popular one is being a little more healthy, changing your diet. First thing I'd recommend is being practical and kind of looking at your current state and what you can do to change your diet, making those little changes. Breakfast can be really hard, especially for a student on the go, because in the morning we want to hit the snooze button a little later, especially in the winter when it's cold out, and you want something that's accessible but also nutritious. So my go-to is usually granola, yogurt, berries. Brown cookies are a good one. Having fruit accessible is something you can really take on the go with you. Kind of looking at your current diet and what you have, and then how you can adjust it to be a little more nutritious is probably your best bet for sure.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
This has been great. So every Tuesday, right?
First Tuesday of every month.
First Tuesday of every month.
Yeah.
You can catch a free breakfast. All right, thanks so much. Back to you, Beth.
Oh, that looks delicious. Speaking of resolutions, we're just a couple of weeks into 2018. Our reporter Trevor Knapp reports on how students and staff at BCIT are starting the year off right.
We're only the second week into 2018, and it's back to the daily grind for many BCIT students. One of the ways students relieve the everyday stresses of courses and homework is by hitting the gym before or after classes. This is magnified at the start of each year as many vow to start a new routine and improve their overall health and fitness. Many, however, don't live up to their so-called New Year's resolution, as the stress of school, among other outside commitments, can stick a wrench in your daily routine. BCIT's fitness and wellness coordinator has tips on how to set realistic goals and hit every workout on the daily.
I'd say like variety is a really good way to keep it interesting. So Monday gym, Wednesday yoga, Thursday maybe do basketball or join intramurals.
Tyler also says working efficiently is key.
What I see a lot is people aren't really working efficiently in the gym, so they'll do like one set and then they'll text or they'll take a longer break. So they're actually they're at the gym for an hour, but they're only physically moving for maybe 15, 20 minutes. So I would say make the most of your time, because then you actually see results.
Students aren't the only ones you'll find occupying BCIT's fitness center. Faculty and staff at BCIT also show up as well.
It's a very much a mental relief from the students and checking my email, so it's a nice break for me.
2018 will likely be no different for those who come to the gym consistently. But for some, the new year will mean the beginning of a new health and fitness routine. Trevor Knapp for BCIT Magazine.
The Union Gospel Mission is helping those in need with everyday essentials. Our reporter Alexandra Fraser went down there to check out just what they're up to.
After her husband died of cancer, Victoria Bull worked 3 jobs to support her family before she got sick.
I have a disability. I have a physical disability where I'm suffering from rheumatoid and osteoarthritis.
Now on disability, she doesn't always have enough money to buy things like toothpaste, but Union Gospel Mission is able to help her by providing donated items from their clothing room.
They try to provide the basic needs for the people so they feel good about themselves, start their day and, it makes them, change their life around, okay?
When they got to go for a job interview, they don't want to go in some dirty clothes. They come in, and we do get the odd suits and stuff. We try to save those for people who are going for job interviews or just starting a new job, working in the kitchen or whatever. They can come in and get a change of clothes and have that for them, and just to see them a few days later when they're actually working and they feel like they fit back in, it makes a big difference, a different walk in their step. Yes.
Bull says many people don't just leave the mission with new clothes. She says they also leave with a new hope for their future. Alexandra Fraser in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
So Alex, what else is UGM doing to help low-income people?
In addition to the clothing room, they have a variety of initiatives. They provide meals, assist with addiction recovery, and help people find housing. Veronica?
So how do the programs help long-term?
Oftentimes, people come in for meals or clothing and then realize there's quite a community there. And it's used as a gateway to help people into the other programs, which turn people's lives around. Back to you.
Do you ever wonder what to do with your Christmas tree? My co-anchor Veronica Beltran reports on how you can donate it to help raise funds for fighting cancer.
Brian Thornburn has been here one weekend a year for the past 4 years after the holidays, chipping up Christmas trees to find a cure for cancer. Thornburn has been a member of Ride to Survive, an organization that funds money to find a cure for cancer, for 13 years. Being a cyclist, his interest in becoming a part of the Ride to Survive was sparked when he heard of the 400-kilometer challenge. Thornburn has had a personal experience with cancer.
So my mother had a melanoma that she successfully has been through and is cancer-free, so that's awesome.
Thornburn says that through his job as a paramedic, some of the things he's seen are hard to cope with, but motivate him to continue riding and raising money.
I've been around many sick children and adults with cancer, so I've seen at a very intimate level what it does to those patients as well as to their families.
Ride to Survive says that fundraisers such as this one are extremely important.
People have some minimum that they have to collect and whatnot. And so they come up with creative ways to collect that money. And Brian came up with a way a few years ago to do this tree chipping idea, which was like, I would never come across that idea. I don't know how he did, but it was hugely important for that kind of thing to happen.
Thornburn says that participating in fundraisers like this make him grateful for his family's health.
You find a way of coping with the suffering you see. It changes you as a person, makes you perhaps a little more resistant to showing your emotions, I guess, but it also helps you appreciate the health of your own family and your own kids.
Thornburn's tree chipping event fundraised $4,000 last weekend, $500 more than its original goal. Veronica Beltran in Langley for BCIT Magazine.
Online businesses are the way of the future.
And a student engineer teaches others to build solar-powered tech.
I chose BCIT because I know that all the programs are very hands-on. We have our own radio station, like it's one of the best programs that I've ever heard of.
I am starting a job on Monday, so confidence is high.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
Standby graphics, ready camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
Today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action, or bring your creative ideas to life, BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production. Your possibilities start here.
What's up? So, you have any New Year's resolutions? Yeah, same. But hey, you know what? We have some activities for you to get on with your New Year's resolutions. If you're into goal setting and you want some help and accountability with all your resolutions and stuff, you should totally go to Supercharge. That's going on from now until January the 20th.
And if you're into yoga, you can always go for free meditation for beginners from now until Jan 15th.
And if you're into cardio workouts with a bit of a dance / martial arts twist, you can go to Belly Fit. That's on from now until January the 18th. You should get there.
Taking more naps definitely does sound like a New Year's resolution. Now our sportscasters Ben Phillips and Trevor Knapp tell us what's coming up in the NFL divisional round.
Thank you, Beth. Trevor Knapp alongside Ben Phillips here outside Burnaby's BCIT campus. We are here looking ahead to the NFL divisional round. The first game on Saturday, Ben, Atlanta at Philly. Who do you have?
Well, you know what? Philadelphia has been great all year. I think you got to go, even though Carson Wentz is out with that injury, Atlanta, they're not the same team they were last year. Their offense is not what it was. Their defense is good, but I think they've had a great year. I'm going to pick Philadelphia to move on in that one.
I couldn't disagree anymore. I mean, Philadelphia, they have been absolutely dismal on offense ever since Carson Wentz went down with that ACL injury. Nick Foles has just been awful. And Atlanta, they are kind of gaining steam at the right time. Robert Alford, Desmond Trufant, that secondary is looking good. I think the Falcons are playing really good football right now. I'm going with the Falcons upset in Philadelphia. Now, next up, we got Tennessee at New England. Ben, how did Tennessee even win last week?
I think they got a little bit lucky, a little bit fortunate. Some of their players stepped up, and they were able to pull out a win over KC. But against New England, come on. New England, Tom Brady, they've been a dynasty for years. It's hard to bet against them. I wouldn't bet against them in this game. New England Patriots are going to steamroll Tennessee.
Couldn't agree more. On to the next game, Sunday morning, Jaguars at Steelers. You got the veteran Ben Roethlisberger versus Blake Bortles. But guess what? I'm going to take Blake Bortles because remember early in the NFL season, the Jaguars went to the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. They blew out the Steelers, man. That defense, Saxonville, is legit. The front seven is amazing. You got guys like Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boye. I'm taking the Jaguars, the upset in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger's going home.
And this is where I disagree with you. I agree Jacksonville is really good. Their defense is really good. But I don't think you beat Ben Roethlisberger and that offense in Pittsburgh. A couple weeks ago, they should have beat the New England Patriots. That was in Pittsburgh. That was a touchdown, controversial play. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to move on. They're going to beat Jacksonville, and they will. I think they're going to end up finding themselves in the Super Bowl.
And now the final game, Ben. This is the one I'm really looking forward to. New Orleans at Minnesota. You got Drew Brees coming off just a sensational performance against Carolina. But Case Keenum, man, he's playing some pretty good football. Minnesota has that home field advantage. I kind of like the Vikings in this one to continue their winning ways and move on to the conference final.
Well, again, I think I'm going to disagree with you. I think the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees are going to maybe not walk away with it, but I think they're going to have a comfortable win over Minnesota. They're on a roll. Their offense is on a roll. Their defenses look the best that it has in years. I think they're going to find themselves up against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the next round. So I'm going to pick the New Orleans Saints to beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, all I can say, I can speak for you too. We can't wait. Let's see what this weekend brings back to you guys in the studio.
As many businesses move to online, more entrepreneurs are doing the same. Our reporter Katie Penny explains the benefits of virtual venture.
In a city with increasing rental rates, it's not always easy to keep a business afloat. But there's a way to not pay rent: a virtual business. Stephen Chum is a successful online business owner. He teaches people under 30 how to run a successful online venture.
I think online business is suitable for them because the startup cost is very low. And if they have a vision, if they have a passion to pursue something, I think that is a great opportunity for these young people to.
Chum estimates a startup cost for an online business to be between $2,500 and $5,000. Some retail rental spaces in downtown Vancouver can be twice that per month. Another bonus is being able to sell anything you want or provide any service you want. No costly business cards, brochures, or billboards necessary to affect your bottom line in the big city. Katie Penny in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
An SFU engineering student wants to make solar power more accessible to his community. Spencer Harwood has more on this bright idea.
Think a solar-powered skateboard sounds like a gadget from Back to the Future or Blade Runner? Think again. It's just one way Tomoe Yoshihara is channeling solar power.
My friends in engineering were being trained and being really effective at noticing problems and then solving them. Problems can be social issues too. If you don't have enough electricity to run your country, it's a technical problem, it's also a social problem. So I was impressed. I thought, wow, they're superheroes. Right? They can see a problem and they can fix it.
Now, he's teaching kids and adults about the benefits of solar power at MakerCube, a workshop space for would-be scientists and engineers in Surrey. He says solar power might not be as much like rocket science as it looks.
Hear about solar panels, but they're on satellites. And so it seems like if NASA can do it, then I can't. I grabbed a few solar panels and plugged them in, and they were relatively easy to use. We're all able to use solar power, to use renewable energy, and to be part of the solution.
For MakerCube member David Daly and his son Matthew, this was an opportunity to learn and to play.
It's scalable, so it's something that I can do on a small scale with my budget in my own home, and that it's decentralized. So I think we have to really be thinking about ways of decentralizing the way we get our energy and the way we do things, so to empower people to be more independent on their own.
While you and I may not be able to afford a $20,000 investment for batteries and panels, Yoshihara makes do with a lot of recycled gear. Then you too can make the sun power your own bright ideas. Spencer Harwood in Surrey for BCIT Magazine News.
Jamie Bacon was denied bail this week by the BC Supreme Court. Bacon is expected back in court in April.
Uber was among several industry stakeholders and experts presenting to an all-party government earlier this week, which is investigating the impact of bringing ride-sharing to Canada. Uber says that over 500,000 people have opened up the app in BC since 2015, despite the service not being available in the province.
The BBC China editor stepped down from her job earlier this week, citing gender pay inequality. Carrie Gracie said in a statement that she will no longer be performing her job because of pay inequality.
Celine Dion was performing in Las Vegas when a fan jumped on stage, threw a leg around her, and gyrated against her. She spoke to the fan before guards escorted them out. If you have any questions regarding the show, you can contact us at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca.
Thank you for watching BCIT Magazine. I'm Beth Merriam.
And I'm Veronica Beltran, and we leave you now with another look at BCIT Student Association's Breakfast Club.